In a quiet, affluent neighborhood, there lived a young man named Charles. He resided alone in a sprawling mansion that stood as a silent testament to his family's once vibrant life. Tragedy had struck early for Charles, stripping him of his parents and leaving him an orphan at a tender age. The mansion, despite its grandeur, echoed with loneliness, and Charles, though wealthy, felt an emptiness that no amount of luxury could fill. One fateful evening, as Charles was driving through the dimly lit streets, a frantic figure suddenly dashed in front of his car, forcing him to slam on the brakes with a screech that echoed through the silence. A young woman, breathless and disheveled, stood trembling in the harsh glare of his headlights. Her eyes, wide with terror and brimming with unspoken fears, spoke volumes more than her quivering lips could manage. Charles, sensing the depth of her desperation and feeling an instinctive urge to protect her, couldn't turn her away. She introduced herself as Zanab, her voice breaking as she pleaded for his help, explaining between sobs that she feared for her life and safety if she remained out in the open. Despite the suddenness of the situation and the myriad of questions racing through his mind, Charles felt an overwhelming need to assist her, and without a moment's hesitation, he agreed to take her to his home. As they arrived at his sprawling mansion, with its imposing facade and grandiose entrance, Charles gently escorted Zanab inside, his mind racing with concern and curiosity. He led her to the warmly lit living room, where the flickering fire cast comforting shadows on the walls. Offering her a drink to calm her frazzled nerves, Charles watched as she slowly began to relax, the tension in her shoulders easing slightly. Once she had settled into the plush sofa, the color returning to her pale cheeks, Zanab began to recount her harrowing tale. Her voice, though still trembling, grew steadier as she spoke. She revealed that she had been in a relationship with a man who, in the wake of her parents' tragic deaths, had initially provided her with the support and solace she so desperately needed. However, as time went on, his demeanor had changed drastically, and he had become increasingly abusive, both physically and emotionally. The beatings had escalated to the point of being unbearable, leaving her with no choice but to flee in a desperate bid for survival. Her eyes filled with tears as she described the fear and helplessness that had plagued her, painting a vivid picture of the torment she had endured. Charles listened intently, his heart aching for Zanab as she recounted her painful story. Her plight resonated deeply with him, stirring long-buried memories of his own orphan past and the struggles he had faced in his youth. Each word she spoke seemed to echo his own experiences of vulnerability and loss. With a gentle but firm voice, he assured her that no one should feel indebted to another to the point of enduring abuse, emphasizing that her life and well-being were far more valuable than any sense of obligation. He conveyed a sense of compassion and understanding that only someone with a shared history of hardship could offer. When Zanab, her voice barely above a whisper, timidly requested to stay the night, Charles readily agreed without hesitation. He offered her the comfort and safety of his home, promising that she could stay as long as she needed. He led her to a cozy guest room, ensuring she had everything she needed to feel secure and at ease. The warmth in his eyes and the sincerity in his words conveyed a deep sense of empathy and protection, giving Zanab a glimmer of hope that she hadn't felt in a long time. The following day, despite Charles's deep concerns and heartfelt pleas for her to reconsider, Zanab insisted on returning to her boyfriend, clinging to the hope that he might have calmed down and that things could return to a semblance of normalcy. Reluctantly, and with a heavy heart, Charles agreed to drive her to her boyfriend's house, unable to shake off the gnawing worry that plagued him. As they pulled up to the house, a sense of dread washed over Charles, but he masked it with a supportive smile, hoping against hope that the situation would not escalate. However, as soon as they arrived and Zanab tentatively stepped out of the car, her boyfriend emerged from the house, his face contorted with seething rage. Without a moment's hesitation, he struck her hard upon seeing her with another man. The force of the blow sent Zanab reeling, her fear palpable as she scrambled back into the safety of Charles's car. Charles, his instincts kicking in, quickly ushered her into the passenger seat and sped away, tires screeching on the pavement. His mind raced with concern for her well-being. The image of her being struck burned into his memory, fueling his determination to protect her from further harm. As they sped down the road, Charles resolved to do whatever it took to ensure Zanab's safety, knowing that she deserved far better than the life of fear and abuse she had been enduring. Charles, determined to protect Zanab from further harm, invited her to stay with him indefinitely, his resolve strengthened by the harrowing experience they had just endured. He couldn't bear the thought of her returning to such a dangerous situation and was committed to offering her a safe haven. Zanab, though initially hesitant, accepted his offer, sensing the genuine concern and sincerity in his voice. As days turned into weeks, Charles did more than just provide her with shelter. He took tangible steps to help her rebuild her life from the ground up. He bought her new clothes, choosing items that not only replaced what she had left behind but also suited her style and comfort, helping her regain a sense of dignity and self-worth. He took her out to various places, restaurants, parks, and social events, slowly reintroducing her to the world and helping her rediscover the joy of normalcy that had long been absent from her life. Each outing was a step toward healing, a chance for Zanab to reclaim the parts of herself that had been suppressed by fear and abuse. Initially bewildered by Charles's unwavering kindness and generosity, Zanab couldn't quite understand why he was so dedicated to helping her. However, as they spent more time together, she began to see the reflections of her own struggles in his eyes. Through their conversations, she learned that he too had once been vulnerable and alone, navigating the harsh realities of life without the support of family. This shared history of pain and resilience forged a bond between them, deepening her appreciation for the compassionate man who had come to her rescue. Charles's empathy and actions weren't just about charity, they were about understanding and solidarity, a testament to the strength that arises from surviving adversity. Charles went a step further, promising to support Zanab's education, understanding that true empowerment came through knowledge and self-sufficiency. He assured her that he would cover all the expenses, allowing her to focus entirely on her studies without the burden of financial worries. Deeply grateful for his unwavering support and the opportunities now within her reach, Zanab enrolled in university, choosing courses that ignited her passions and aligned with her dreams. With each passing day, she began to flourish academically, her confidence growing as she excelled in her studies. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the bond between Charles and Zanab deepened, rooted in mutual respect and admiration. They found solace and affection in each other's company, often sharing long conversations about their pasts, their hopes for the future, and the simple pleasures of everyday life. Their shared experiences of hardship and resilience forged a strong connection, creating a foundation of trust and understanding. Love blossomed naturally between them, a gentle and gradual unfolding of affection that neither had anticipated but both welcomed wholeheartedly. Their relationship brought joy and fulfillment to both their lives, filling the voids left by past traumas with warmth and companionship. They supported each other's growth, celebrated each other's successes, and provided comfort in times of doubt. Years later, Zanab graduated from university, her face radiant with accomplishment. Charles, proud and deeply in love, stood by her side, their journey together a testament to resilience and the transformative power of kindness. They continued to live in Charles's mansion, their hearts intertwined, and the once lonely halls of the mansion now echoed with laughter and love. Charles and Zanab lived happily ever after, their lives enriched by the love and support they had found in each other.